What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, chum. Come to the cabaret.
I'm here with singer, songwriter, actor, screenwriter, radio personality, reality TV star, free speech advocate, and now author of Shut Up and Give Me the Mic, Mr. Dee Snider. Dee, welcome to Psychobabble.
Great to be here.
So good to have you here. This book, this is a great read, by the way, completely dispels the whole myth of rock and roll career, getting your money for nothing and your chicks for free. You had to claw and struggle every step of the way to get to each level of success.
Yeah.
And then there was no resting on the plateau. It was always on to the next level of success.
Sort of a sheer drop down the other side.
Yeah, well,
nobody tells you, you know, we say we're going to make it. Everybody says I'm going to make it, like it's some finish line.
Right.
But really, we really don't know what's on the other side of that finish line.
Right.
I found out the hard way. It's
more work.
It's more work.
Yeah, yeah. Also, the book kind of exposes the childish insanity of the record industry at that time, where at the height of your career, you had people within your own record company actively working to sabotage you to some degree?
Absolutely. I mean, you're dealing with people, and with the people there are jealousies and agendas.
Right.
And within and to sit there, and sometimes you say they're acting like we're the new Coke or something, like it's an inanimate object, not human beings who are suffering at the hands of stupidity. But I see it all the time, and there's nothing you can do about it when the inner machinations of a record company and people's personalities start clashing, and they start looking to just sabotage each other.
Right. Well, on the surface, this is a rock and roll biography, but in truth, this is a love story. This is an epic love story. Under the heading of Things You Shouldn't Try at Home, Dee met his wife when she was 15 and he was 20, and you've been together ever
21.
since. 21, yeah. Yeah, you might want to do a disclaimer. Don't try that at home.
No, don't try that at home.
You need
My daughter's 15 now.
Yeah.
I said, you think some dude looks like me is going to roll up and be taking you? Forget it. It ain't happening.
Right. Your wife comes from a large Italian family in
Oh,
New
yeah.
Jersey, and not to stereotype, but you could have ended up in a trunk in New Jersey.
They
somewhere.
threatened me.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no. They said bottom of a lake with cement platform shoes. Platform shoes, yeah. They, no, I rolled in because I was always great with parents. I figured, hey, I can smooth this over. Big, crazy-looking rock guy comes rolling in the house, and the Sopranos are sitting there waiting for me. So, yeah, I didn't smooth that over. But they love me now. After 36 years, we've been together.
Through trial and error. And 4 kids?
4 kids, 2 grandkids. It's kind of insane.
God. Well, and that's the thing. That you talk about some of the pitfalls and hardships you've encountered, but I think your saving grace, my take on it anyway, was that your art was your vocation, but your family was your life.
Absolutely. If I did not have that oasis to keep me going, and that partner, Suzette was such a partner for me that I never even thought for a second, at the worst of times, that she might leave, which you hear happens so often in these relationships. When the fame and the money goes, the relationship disappears. And we were just shoulder to shoulder through it all. So knowing I had that kept me happy at the worst of times. Amazing. And as a matter of fact, Suzette and I often talk and say that some of our best times were when things were worst.
Yeah.
When we were really just toughing it out and just scrounging for every little thing, yet as a unit, we were never more solid.
Bonded in the foxhole.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's great. Well, let's talk about the new CD, Dee Does Broadway. Now, this is not your typical cover album. You've taken some Broadway classics and metalized them in your own style.
Yeah, I'd say it's not a metal record,
No.
even though it's pretty metallic. But I say that only because conceptually, Broadway, heavy metal, it's not this as a concept, but it's pretty metallic. I mean, there's some really, like a Ballad of Sweeney Todd. It's just full-on metal, and it because it's about a serial killer, it works perftly.
Well,
Much
yeah.
more metal than blood and gore.
Right. The Ballad of Sweeney Todd is something that could have been written by Dee Snider or Alice Cooper.
Yeah, well, I really could have, and I've just, I've often said that if Bach and Beethoven were alive today, they'd be Metallica fans.
Right.
I mean, these songs were written by people working with the equipment they had, and some of these songs have a real heaviness to them. You know, Tonight from West Side Story.
Right.
I heard, I said, because I grew up hearing show tunes in my house. No, I didn't have two fathers. Just a regular parent. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but they were really into Broadway and stuff. And I say Tonight's like the original power ballad.
Right.
It's a power ballad. It's by Sondheim and Bernstein, but damn it, if they had electric guitars, they would have used them.
Yeah, and the thing opens up with Cabaret just straight out of the gate. Boom, it's crazy.
Yeah, nobody's gotten this joke so far, but if one person gets it, it's worth it. When I say old chum, for you fishermen out there, I'm talking about old bait used to attract fish. See, it's not the new fresh bait, it's the old chum.
Old chum.
Thank you. One person
We're going to dub in the snare on that.
Yes, please.
You've also got some heavy hitters, duet-wise. You got Cindy Lauper on Hey Big Spender. You've got Patti LuPone, and who's this Jesse Blaze Snider kid?
Yeah, Jesse, my son.
Oh,
My son. Yeah, that's kind of cool. That was just sort of a dad's dream come true to get a chance to sing with your son and just rock out with him. I mean, I've rocked out on stage with him, but we got to do something in the studio together, which was very cool. And then my other guests are just like mind-blowing. Clay Aiken, from my relationship on the Celebrity Apprentice. Cindy Lauper I knew over the years. But then there's Bebe Neuwirth, who, of course, is a television star, Emmy Award winner, and movie star, but she's a huge Broadway star. And she did Lola on the record, and then Patti LuPone, who is the queen of Broadway. I mean, you can't, just legend-wise, they're no bigger than Patti. And I'm in the studio, I'm turning to the engineer going, does she know who I am? Well, don't tell her.
Right.
Don't tell her, because she's being cool.
Oh,
But if the truth is, they all like loved it. I mean, we're at a point in history where just about everybody, except for the very elderly, have grown up on rock or with rock to some capacity. So your all your Broadway stars, they liked rock and roll, you know. So they were psyched they had a chance to rock out a little bit, which was so they were just as happy to be there as I was to be doing this record with them.
And like so many other things in your life and your career, it shouldn't really work out, but it does.
Yeah, oddly. It's like a bumblebee.
Yeah.
Technically, it shouldn't be able to fly.
Right, but it does.
But it does.
And speaking of that, I have to bring up the Twisted Sister Christmas album, which, if you haven't heard it, I initially purchased it as a novelty item, and it's since become the musical highlight of my Christmas season every year. It's just great.
Somebody just said it yesterday. They said, I gotta be honest, we got it. It was a joke. Now it's the record.
Exactly.
It's Christmas. And I said, you know what? We didn't do it as a joke. But because I always was just sort of frustrated that there was never rock Christmas. Well, there's the '50s Phil Spector one that everybody loves. But like just real hard rock Christmas, it didn't exist. And when we did the record, I knew it'd be taken as a novelty, but I'm pleased with the life it's had, and it just every year continues to sell.
Absolutely. Twisted Sister is now a Christmas special. That's great.
And I've actually I've actually just had a musical I wrote called Twisted Christmas the Musical. That's been optioned by a major Broadway producer, and it's actually a musical with additional songs, and it's about a fictitious band, Bent Brother, who sells their souls for rock and roll, but find the magic of Christmas instead. And it's a very fun, funny story, and I wrote it, and it's got a major producer right now has Memphis and Ghost on Broadway, and he's done like 20 other big shows, and he just fell in love with it, and so we're developing that right now.
Great stuff. Well, we're not going to keep you much longer, Dee. I know you got a lot of people waiting for you. I think there's some single mothers or something upstairs. I know there was some SMF group or something.
Oh, yeah, the single mothers.
Yeah, but
Foundation.
Yeah, here we go. The book is Shut Up and Give Me the Mic. The CD is Dee Does Broadway. The man is incredible, Dee Snider.
And just can I just have one thing?
Yes, sir.
I wrote it myself.
Yeah.
It's not often done. I mean, most people don't, and they write themselves, and I'm pleased they let me, and the reviews have been great. So
most rock stars shouldn't write their own book.
Yeah, well, that's another problem.
You did a great job.
Thanks.
Very readable, compelling. Dee Snider.
Hey, this is Dee Snider. Yeah, you know me, and you're watching Psychobabble.